I'm Marcello Sacco from the University of Siena, and I'm conducting this interview for the project Together, which is an Erasmus Plus project. I'm interviewing Prof Courteau Lucie from the University of Bolzano. Thank you for being here with us. And can you explain us, please, your initiatives related to refugee students and what are the key points of these initiatives, the challenges and their opportunities, please? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Marcello. Thank you very much for reaching out to Bolzano. Our program is a little different from the programs of many universities in that it doesn't require students to, or refugee students to register as regular students. What we do is we select some students or some refugees that are sent to us by the association, so Caritas, etc. And they are allowed to take courses of their choice among all the courses that are offered by the university. So they're registered as extracurricular students, which means they don't have to have any legalized documents to attend the courses. They don't have to have language skills. They can choose the things that interest them, the topics that interest them. And so it is easier for them to change idea, or it's more flexible. So what we do is we interview them at the beginning. We select some students at the beginning of each semester since 2015. It started in 2015 when there was a big wave of refugees. And Bolzano is near the border to Austria and Germany, and so a lot of refugees got blocked into Bolzano. So something had to be done with them. And the project was started by some professors and some people from the administration, not the top administration, but technicians and secretaries. And the objective was to integrate some of the refugees into the university life and maybe get them out of the camp for a few hours per day and talk about something else than questura, permesso di soggiorno, etc. And so we have maximum 50 students at one time in the program. So but there is a big dropout turnover, and so we integrate about 15 to 20 students every semester. So new students that come in. We realized very fast that it was very difficult for these people to integrate into university life. We don't have special courses for them. They are integrated with the regular students in courses of sociology, philosophy, accounting, mathematics, etc. And so because it was difficult, we really very early on realized that they needed some help. We provided some help, but we're professors, we're secretaries, it's not the same thing. So we asked some of the regular students to act as buddies. So I sent an email to all of the students of the university and describing the program a little bit and saying, would you be willing to accompany one of these refugee students in their integration into the university? And we got a very good response, and we have the group of buddies, which I coordinate, so I really very attached to them. Every semester, some of them go away because they're finished or because they go on Erasmus. And so we have a turnover also of buddies every semester. We have new buddies and we have new students. At the end of each semester, the student and the buddy can decide whether they want to stay together or if they want to switch to somebody else. it's also possible. And this buddy thing is very interesting to see, because you see students who, the regular students, a lot of them are not from Bolzano or from Bressanone, because our university is in both Bressanone and Bolzano. They're not from here, so they arrived at the university maybe a year, 2 years ago, and they don't know very many people, and they experienced the integration into the university, although it's sort of teachings, techniques that they're used to. It's culturally, they're not completely, it's not completely different, although we have also some buddies who are from outside of Italy. But they experience the difficulties of being a student, and so there is sort of an empathy for these new students who have not only to start their studies, but have done a lot of things before that have been a little bit traumatic, let's say. And so with the buddies, it helps the refugees to be able to talk to real people, not only to refugees in the camps, and also to share with some other young people, some young people from here, and they realize that they're very similar. They like the same music, they like the same films, or they don't, but they can talk about it. They can talk about, they have common academic interests. And so, because we try to pair them by faculty. And so it is very interesting for both the buddies and also for the refugees. So the buddies have been very good at helping the students to stay in the program. The impact of this program on university has not been very big at the university. I mean, the university is not very big. It's 3,000 students, but 50 students don't show up that much at the university. But for some of the professors, because when we know that a student has chosen a course, we correspond with the professor saying there will be a refugee student in your class, and some of the professors have been very welcoming, and in fact using the fact that these people from somewhere else with a different perspective were in their class, especially in the social science classes. In a class of anthropology, when you have a Syrian or you have a Nigerian in your class, a lot of professors have taken the opportunity to have these different perspectives in their classroom to increase the, or not increase, but improve the dialogue in their class. For the professors who are involved in the program, it has been an eye-opener. For me, I've immigrated to Italy, but on my own willing, and I decided I was going, and especially like this. So I've been through the questura, permesso di soggiorno, but not in the same conditions. And so it opened my eyes on a lot of cultures and why these people left home, and the trouble that they get when to go through all of this. And it has also been, I've kept in contact with a lot of the students who have finished, because they're here for 4 semesters, and after that they have to leave the program. The idea at the beginning was that after the 4 semesters, they would be ready to apply as regular students. They would have probably their refugee status, and they would have the documentation necessary, and they would have a better chance of succeeding in a regular program if they had done some courses before. That didn't happen. None of the students, I don't know how many we've had, more than 100 certainly. None of the students has enrolled at the university, mostly because of the language requirements at this university. You know, we teach in 3 languages. We require for admission that the students speak 2 of the 3 languages, and so it's almost impossible in 2 years for a refugee who has 3 other languages, but maybe a little bit of English, and they're learning Italian. There's no way they can also learn German and have the levels necessary for entrance. So that objective, we just is sort of a, I don't think it's a failure. It's just that we didn't realize how much. I mean, we started this with the enthusiasm of doing something new, and some of the objectives, the objective of integrating some of these people and helping them to enter the society and also understand a little more how the society works. I think that has been achieved. A lot of our students have, a lot of the long-term friendships have emerged from this. In fact, I keep in contact with a lot of our previous students and our current students also. And so it has been, I think that has been achieved. One of the particularities of our program is that because it doesn't require students to have documentation and legalized documents and translated, etc. It is more flexible, and so students can choose one or the other course. So there's one student I remember started in accounting. I teach accounting, so she started in my class, and in the middle of the course, she realized that it was not for her. And so she switched to communications, and now she's going to apply. She's applying to the University of Trento, because she cannot be admitted here because of language problems. And so she is going to. She's applying for admission in Trento. All the professors are doing this voluntarily. All the students do this voluntarily. The only thing that the university has done is every year at the university council, they say, yes, we agree to continue admitting these students. The only thing that is different from these students than for extracurricular students is that they don't have to pay the fees for the courses they're taking, but otherwise they're treated like extracurricular students. And they can do the exam, but there's no penalty because they're not registered in a program. There's no penalty for them to stop the course in the middle because it doesn't interest them or because they don't have time. They can do the exam. If they don't pass it, it's not important because they can redo it later, or they can not do it at all. So there is no pressure on refugee students to perform. The idea is, here's the university, here's how it works. Can you find your way through this? And can you find your place in something like this? Most important challenges, which is, from what I hear from other universities, it's the same for all universities, the dropout rate. I mean, these students are here when we get them. Usually they just arrived, they're living in camps, they go to eat at the Mensa, and so they have nothing else to do but talk with other people in the camps, or walk on the streets, or come to the university. And so they come to the university, but their life circumstances change very fast. they find a job, they move to another region, or they are moved to another region. We've seen that, you know. And so when they find a job, it's good because that's what they need. They need to be able to find a job and get an apartment and get their life together. And so there is a big dropout rate. Very few students have done the whole 2 years in the program.
Just one question. In case that the refugee student is successful in the two years program, in case that these students can enroll in an official university course, are the exams recognized in the new? Okay.
Like that's for all extracurricular students. When they pass an exam, they don't get credits.
Okay.
I mean, on the paper, piece of paper they get, it says credit 0. But if they enroll at our university or at another university, these are credits that can be recognized in the program in which they enroll.
This is important in every Italian university, or
well, it depends. I mean, recognition of exams sustained in other universities is done on a case-by-case basis. At least at our university, I guess at all the universities it's the same. It depends on whether the topic is useful for the program in which the student is enrolling.
A student. If I was a student and you want to persuade me to join the Buddies project, the Buddies program, how can you? What would you say me?
Well, what I say in the email that I send to the students is that this is a great opportunity to meet people of other cultures who have other experiences, but common interest in common academic interest. And also it is something that is very, I mean, students are at the university to learn not only finance or mathematics or physics, but also to develop as people, as, you know, to become members of society. And this is a very good experience in becoming useful, and not only useful, I don't like the word useful, but integral component of society. And all the students who have done it, really, at the end of each semester, I asked the buddies to write a little report, you know, a few lines about their experience, and it's almost always positive. Of course, some it's more difficult. The chemistry doesn't work, or some of the refugees are very shy. They don't want to disturb, and so that makes it a little more difficult for students. But even that you learn from difficulties like this. So yeah, I would say this is, and also I always said it adds a line to your CV, and you get a certificate. So you get a titolo.
Do you organize some
Yes,
some pizza and some
no, we do aperitivi. We have this very nice penthouse place at the university on the 6th floor, overlooking the Rosengarten and all the mountains around. And so we organize events there. At the beginning, we didn't realize that this was important, but then we had some focus groups, and we realized that the buddies were sort of felt that they were left by themselves. And so we organize every month of course, when the university is open, not now, but also we've done it through video conference. Also, we've done one of those. But so we organize these events every month. Those who want to come, and usually we have a presentation and then aperitivo. And the presentation, we've had presentations by immigration lawyers to explain not so much to the refugees, but to the buddies, the process of, applying for refugee status. We've had people talking about study skills. A lot of our refugee students don't know how to study. They have not been to school in a long time, and they don't know how to be efficient at studying. We've had also, I have one of my colleagues who is teaching personnel management, but she's a specialist of intercultural personnel management, human resource management. And so she comes every year to make a presentation about intercultural relations and interactions, and to tell them about, how in some cultures people are close together when they talk to each other, like Italians. And in other cultures, you don't look people in the eye when you're talking to them, things like that. So, we try to give also some information to both the buddies and on different topics that might be of interest to them.
That's amazing, and I think we can stop here.
Okay.
Thank you very much for telling us all this fascinating history, and I hope to see you soon.
It's been a pleasure, really. Thank you very much for your interest in our little project.
Okay.